Welcome to Ligon. We had gone out to Ligon last week on Wednesday and took some pictures and video to make it a little bit clearer as to what's going on our winter carnival this year. So this is the bus drop-off area. Lodge Road is to the right. This is a meadow area that we might have some activities. And over to the left or on the west side of the trail, there's another trail that goes back to the pavilion and the lodge. That's a little bit quicker, and there are some team building activities along the way. Really, when we get out to Ligon, we had games and things planned, but the nature is so beautiful and there are so many things to do along the way that we kind of cut out some of those games that we were going to bring. The first one is the telephone pole shuffle. And as you see, there's a telephone pole lying on the ground. The way you play this or do this activity is students will line up on the log. So as long as they're not too crowded on there, you might get like 7, 8, 9 kids depending on the size. The challenge is for the person on one end to shuffle around everyone else and get to the other end. So you can continue to do that as long as you like. Until they have completed that challenge. I'll make directions. I have directions made up in the Google Doc, and I will print those out for you. These are other activities that go from a trail from Arrow Trail, which is the one to the west, over to Lodge Road, and they are clearly marked. Now we're over on Lodge Road. If you took Lodge Road instead of Arrow Trail, there's the fossil dig if it's a warm day. Then the next thing you come to is the stone house, and we will, either type of weather, do activities at the stone house. It's a great warming house. We will have Sloan is going to do a bird watching demonstration behind the stone house, and then we'll have snowshoes so that students can try out, or we can demonstrate, if we have enough snow. They get ruined if we do it on the ground without enough snow. This is inside the stone house. Very warm. This is where we talked about reading a story. It seats 40 students. This was a cold morning that we went out, and that fire was so warm and cozy. So there's a concrete floor, but it's clean. Students can sit down on the floor in the corner if you want to read them a story, or in the at the tables, they can do some other kind of quiet activity if they like. This is a lookout area behind the stone house, and so there's a door out the back, or you can walk around the side, where Sloan will be to do a bird watching demonstration. It's kind of well contained, so we can gather, small groups there and let them talk without being interrupted. It overlooks a pond, lots of trees, so I think it'll work out nice. We're planning on that. Another team building activity, this is over on Lodge Road. This is by in the summertime, if you've been out to Ligon, it's where the buses park. I call this skis. It has the ropes off to the side. What they'll do is take the skis down from the rack, put you can get about 7 or 8 students on here, put their left foot on one ski, their right foot on the other ski, and hold the 2 ropes from the skis. And the challenge is to get from, one end to the other, working together. Again, instructions are in the Google Doc. Then you come to the lodge and the pavilion. You see the pavilion right there in front, and if you see the snowy roof in the back, that's the lodge. This is where all the food will happen. There's an open fire. The pavilion will have a fire, and the lodge has bathrooms, and there will be a fire going in there. So all 3 of these are nice warming stations. Peanut's going to come out and do a white bean chili tasting and a lentil soup tasting. We will have s'mores and hot cocoa. The hot cocoa will be right here in the pavilion, with that fire going in the pavilion and those logs all built up around it and the roof. This stays very warm also. Many picnic tables to come and eat, to stop and have your hot cocoa break, or just to warm up. And then behind, right from there, you see the lodge. So there are bathrooms on the outside of the lodge that we use in the summer. We use the outdoor entrance. But in the wintertime, we keep those doors locked, and the bathroom entrances are from the inside. And again, there will be a fire in there, and Peanut might be doing the soup and chili tasting in there. I'm not sure. This is Lake Ligon. So Feel free to take your students down the boardwalk to take a look at the lake. If you see the little trail to the right, that's a boardwalk trail, follow that. That's a fun little hike, and it comes out at a trail just north of the pavilion. If you take a right when you get out to that road, it takes you right back to the pavilion. And again, in the wintertime, you can see pretty clearly where these buildings are, and it's pretty hard to get lost. Plus, all the roads are marked clearly, the trails are marked. Take the opportunity to stop here and teach students how to read a hiking trail map. The number system, they do this out at Formar, and I've even had them talk a little bit about this trail map. It's a good skill for students to have. And mindfulness. Just the sounds, the stillness, the quietness of this hike. I know students in Mount Morris are practicing mindfulness. Have them just sit and be in the moment for 5 minutes, listen to the sounds, and then have a small discussion about it. And some bathrooms along the way. These are pit toilets, so I'm not sure if students will go for that, but there are a few of those along the way. If it's a day that's raining or the wind chills are too cold, we plan to have activities in the conference center, so all of these buildings are reserved and warm. Again, it will be open. It has regular bathrooms if students need to warm up. There are some team building games we will do inside as a whole group, or we can break into small groups. So we have plans for any kind of weather. Also dressing for the weather. To be successful in a winter carnival like this, talking to students about dressing in layers is important. I had long johns on and winter boots and a hat and mitten and a coat, and it was a pretty cold morning, and it was a nice walk. So if you have any other questions, you can just let us know, but I thought this would help.